She lied to me, broken bar, but I didn't know it would lead me to her. It had been 3 weeks since I left. I lived in a tiny rented studio with peeling walls, slept on a mattress, drank coffee from paper cups. My soul felt like an empty room full of echoes and drafts. I still worked, but not for someone else anymore. I worked so I wouldn't go insane. You know what it's like to come back to silence where there used to be laughter, perfume in the air, and the voice of someone you loved? I was slowly finding myself again, until that day. It was just another evening. I stopped by a cafe tilde copyright I'd never visited before. Behind the counter stood a girl in a light beige sweater with rolled-up sleeves, a tattoo on her collarbone, and eyes that seemed to look right through you. She smiled and said, "You're a broken bar, it's like you lost your home." Maybe, I said. Or maybe it lost me. She handed me my coffee and scribbled something on the lid with the marker. I didn't look until I got into the car. Everything that falls apart is rebuilt. Sometimes, even more beautifully. Alina. We started seeing each other by accident. A 5-minute conversation, a laugh behind the counter, then coffee after her shifts. I wasn't looking for anything, but with her, it felt calm. And a broken bar, there was a spark, not a flash born of pain, but a quiet light, like a flashlight in the dark. I told her about Anya, how betrayal doesn't kill you, but it does leave scars. She listened, didn't interrupt, didn't pity me. She just looked into my eyes and asked, "Do you know what you want now?" I didn't answer, but one night, we were sitting on her rooftop, the city buzzing like a beehive beneath us, and she said, "I don't think you lost yourself. I think you just weren't with someone who helped you see it." I didn't reply. I just reached for her hand and realized it didn't hurt anymore. I never saw Anya again. She texted, apologized, said she made a mistake, that he turned out to be someone else, that she missed me. I never replied. I stopped looking back, because ahead of me was Alina, with warmth, with coffee, with real honesty, and a spark in her eyes that lit up something in me. 2 months had passed since I met Alina. We weren't together in the classic sense, more like two people healing each other, and no pressure, no labels. But one morning, I caught myself smiling again. We got closer, no longer just coffee but late-night walks through the city. She started coming over after shifts, sometimes stayed the night. One evening, lying under a thin blanket, she said, "I'm starting to get scared. I'll get used to you." I looked at her. What if I already have?" She smiled, but there was a shadow in her eyes. A few days later, I came home from work and saw a broken bar Anya, standing by my car, rain, black coat, tissue in her hand. "We need to talk." "No, we don't." "I'm pregnant." "It's your baby." The world stopped. I felt everything inside me collapse again. She said more about how she made a mistake, how he vanished when she told him, how she was scared, how I was the only one she ever felt safe with. I stood there like in a movie where someone turned off the sound, just the rain hitting the car. I told Alina everything, every single detail. She listened. Her face was calm, but her hands were shaking. "Do you want to be with her?" She asked. I don't know. That might be my child. I can't pretend it means nothing." She stood up, walked to the window, and stayed silent for a long time. I understand, but I won't be the fallback plan. I've been that before, and I won't be it again. I'm not your enemy, but you need to decide, do you want to be a guilty father, or a man who knows what he deserves? 3 days passed. I didn't call either of them. I just thought. Then one morning, I got up early, grabbed my umbrella, went to Elena's place, and knocked. She opened the door, sleepy, no makeup, wearing my old sweatpants. I said, I'll be a father, but that doesn't mean I'll go back to the past. My home, a broken bar, is where I feel alive, and that's with you." She looked at me for a long time, then just nodded, and pulled me into a hug. It wasn't a fairy tale. It was real life, with pain, with mistakes, with hard choices, but real, and maybe that's why it was worth going through everything. Life was settling. I saw Anya only about the child. She really was pregnant. We agreed I'd support and be involved, but we wouldn't get back together. Alina knew everything. It was hard for her at first, but one day she said, I don't want to fight with your past. I just want you to choose your present intentionally. And I did. Every single day. We moved in together. I started working less, living more. With her, it was easy, warm, until one night at a broken bar I noticed she was spending more time on her phone, laughing softly when she thought I was asleep, looking away when I spoke about the future. One evening, I saw her phone light up with the message, "I miss you." Even just for an hour at a broken bar. I didn't ask. I just said, is there something you want to tell me?" She froze, then sat down. Remember when you shut down after hearing about the baby? I felt like I was losing you. And a broken bar one night. Just one. He's from my past. We dated long ago. He showed up again. We met, had a drink. I kissed him. Once, I stopped it myself. I told him everything and I wanted to tell you, but I was scared. I looked at her, and inside, something broke. Not anger, not pain, just a broken bar exhaustion. I said, I forgave once, because I believed you could start over. But here's the truth. If you keep wiping the canvas clean a broken bar you'll forget how to paint. She cried, begged me not to leave, said it was a mistake, not betrayal, just fear. I walked away, not in rage and silence, because I realized, sometimes, love doesn't die from betrayal. A broken bar, it dies because it just can't survive another repair. Almost a year passed. Alina left. I didn't hold on. I wasn't angry. I just accepted. Even the warmest feelings can crack if they are stepped on twice. I lived alone again, and for the first time, I didn't suffer. I started writing, not for someone else, for myself, about life, about pain, about how betrayal doesn't kill, but forms new bones inside. And it was then, at one of the local writers' meetings in a coffee shop, that I met her. Her name was Claire, an American with Russian roots. She worked as an editor in a small publishing house and temporarily moved to our city to exchange experiences. She had a quiet voice, but her gaze was like that of a person who had lived 3 lives. We began to communicate slowly, without flirting, without trying to impress, just 2 tired people who were comfortable with each other. Have you ever gone somewhere where no one knows your name? She asked once. No, I answered. But sometimes you want to forget not your name, but everything connected with it. She nodded. I have an idea. A month later, we moved. Seattle, a small apartment with huge windows and the smell of the sea. Work remote. I wrote, helped online schools, sometimes gave lectures, and she proofread my texts. She sent me notes with edits and a signature. You don't just write, you make people feel. And you deserve to be heard. We didn't promise each other forever. We didn't say, you are my meaning. We just lived, without masks, without that emotions. Sometimes I received messages from Anya, a photo of a child. I helped from a distance. And, the pain is gone. It's just a memory, not an anchor. Clark once said, all those won't mean a broken bar, they were steps, and I am your turn. And she was right, because with her I didn't feel like a hero, betrayed, restored. With her I felt like just a broken bar man.